As a business owner, it's important that you are focused on two things: sales and delivery. I don't care how many people you are, if you're one person or you have 50 people, at the end of the day, you have to drive the company forward and the vision forward. And so when it comes to the sales process, you have two key focuses: your setting and your closing. And your input actually determines your output. So the more effort, energy, consistency you're putting into getting more deals, what's going to happen? The more output, you're going to actually have those successes and have those closers are going to be doing what they're meant to do, close. The worst thing you want is your salesperson having an empty calendar. That's why the setting comes in handy. You could think of it as like Batman and Robin. So your closer's Batman, but Batman needs Robin. So that's why the two go together so well. At the end of the day, sales matters. Anytime I shifted focus, even if I'm not passionate about sales, so to speak, or the sales process, every time I don't focus on growth and sales, it doesn't have my attention, it could halt at any point. So you always have to give it your attention, because at the end of the day, there's no problem within anyone's company, no matter how big and small, that you can't fix right now if you didn't have more sales. Having a problem scaling, well, if you had more money, you would be able to hire the right people, put them in the right place. Too much on your plate, same thing. More sales would fix that because you'd have money to fund offloading stuff from your plate. So that's why this is so important. I just want to get a gauge of the room here. That's really important so I could tailor what I'm speaking about to everybody and kind of see. Does anybody have appointment setting on Autopilot? Okay. So most of the room doesn't have really too much of appointment setting on Autopilot or setters. Does anyone have setters? Who has just hired one? Very nice. Who has closers? Who is the closer? I do. Okay, great. This is going to be fun. Okay, so you could use setters for you right now if you don't have a closer, because I can't think of something that would waste your time more than you having to set your own appointments as well as close them when you're the owner. Already, you probably shouldn't be closing. You should offset that to somebody, but for the time being, this will be extremely relevant for you. And then if you have closers, they're going to love you once you have setters that are funneling them leads. So it all works out. All right, so here's the drivers of sales. You're here. First, you need to assess kind of where you're at. Okay, who's on my sales team currently? In this room, I feel like most of us are the closers for the most part, right? We don't have big sales teams or anything like that. You have to ask yourself, what generates leads? So it's kind of like the who, what, how. You need to determine where you're at from a foundation standpoint. So what generates me leads? And then who/how do we manage those leads? Do we have a CRM? Are we using spreadsheets? I talked to my client in San Antonio. I kid you not. He did $10 million in roofing, and it was all off Apple Notes. And I told him, you have to do a podcast with me. He's like, you can't make fun of me. I was like, no, I have to talk about this. I can't so I just want to understand. I want you to understand who and how do you manage the leads. One of the biggest fall off I see in sales teams is leads falling through the cracks, simply because the right technology is not set up and the right processes are not set up. Okay? So that's kind of where you start. That is the starting point. As you go more into the foundations, right, you need to make sure you have a consistent flow of leads and outbound sources. I prefer inbound. I'm sure most of you do. We haven't luckily had to do much outbound in order to generate leads because we have such a strong inbound. Okay, our appointment setters are calling people that have come inbound as inbound leads. So we're not cold calling necessarily. There are colder leads in our system, right, that haven't heard from us in a while or subscribed to something way back in the day. So we're calling those, but we're not just buying random lists and calling them. I'll show you how we're doing it as well. But just understanding how you can get a consistent flow of leads will make your life easier. And then once you get those leads, you need to be tracking. There's nothing worse than generating a bunch of leads. And you don't know this till you start generating a bunch of leads, that you don't know what the heck you're converting. Like, you don't know which of these you're converting, how many, what's your conversion rate. And so it doesn't allow you to scale the right way because you don't really know. So just having clarity on that is important. Once you have that in place and those consistent flow of leads, that's where you can start taking action and the scripts start coming into play, the role playing, making sure you have that really strong, and your metrics are tracked daily, weekly, and monthly. So everybody on our sales team, especially our setters, I'll show you, they submit their metrics every single day, and then we track it weekly and monthly. So we could determine what's working best. Do we have hot months, slow months? What's the trend so that we could work smarter next time around? So we're learning each time from it. And then once you have that in place, if you guys can see this here, you're going to optimize it. So from there, you're scaling. You're optimizing, you're reviewing those results, you're making iterations, you're pivoting, you're adding to the team, all those adjustments that you need to ultimately scale this machine. Does everyone agree sales is one of the most important parts of your company? Does everyone agree maybe they should take a little more time to build out their sales team, process, department? Yeah, I agree. I have a sales team and I have setters, and I still feel like I need to build it out. I'm like, I haven't built this out enough, every single time. But it really depends for you and your company. The only two things I care about are sales and delivery. Is my sales team meeting the metrics, and is my team deliver? Because the last thing I want is a bad reputation. So those two go hand in hand. I'm selling. Can I deliver? Great. Let's keep going.